Hello and welcome to the Time Is Now podcast. My name is Jody Albert Moss, and today I figure I'll just go on a little walk around. Haven't been around the property in a couple days. The snow's been pretty crazy. We've had a couple storms. Apparently there's another storm on the way. So I just go around and have a look. I notice right away that there's always some kind of noise. There's noise from the construction next door. There's noise from the highway. Sometimes it's hard to find silence. Can even maybe even hear the crunch of the snow under my feet. There's lots of tracks. Coyote's been here. Runs a certain path every night. Looks like last night there was only one. Generally there's two. Big male and smaller female. They've been living here for years. We get along. We respect each other. No one has a right of ownership. The land is for everyone. As I was mentioning, it's so hard to find silence. If you've ever spent time in the forest at night, it's not very quiet there either. There's insects, animals, tree frogs, all orchestrating the music of the forest. The music and the songs are different in the daytime than they are at night. Different animals come out at different times. There was some possum tracks on the land. We have possums, raccoons, little field mice that come out at night. Not much through the day. It's just good to go out and be aware, just to stop, just to breathe, listen to the sounds. Don't give them ownership. Let them flow. Let the sounds flow into your mind and flow out. Sometimes I like to attach to a song, see if I can track it back to its source. Can faintly hear the song of a bird. We had a lot of birds here. We put out sunflower seeds for them. We had mourning doves, cardinals, but the falcon's been around. The falcon kind of cycles in and cycles out. The bird population builds up, especially mourning doves, and the falcon comes around. Everybody takes off. And then when the falcon's done what the falcon does, goes away, the other birds return. We had a big red-tail here, red-tailed hawk. Had a male and a female. Don't see them often. I saw them the other day. Too much construction. Now they're working the field next to our house. That's where they used to hunt field mice. They used to sit in the trees at the edge of our property and hunt the field mice, but that's all been cleared off. They've taken the topsoil. There's no wildlife there, so the hawks have to move on. It actually saddens me to know that the animals that were here, they have nowhere to go. The only thing that saves them where I live is their 16-mile creek. And the Conservation Authority kind of takes care of 200 feet on each side of the river. And the animals that's their corridor. They use the river as a highway. The only place they can get around the river, because it's a steep embankment, is they come through my backyard. And I've mentioned in other videos, they come through the yard and then they go over down the hill underneath the bridge and then back on the other side, because there's a 4-lane highway right here. And they figured out that it's easier to go under than try to go across. As I look around, I can see the ducks. I see some mallard ducks. I see some Canada geese. Nothing like they used to be. There used to be thousands of them down there in the river. Kind of sheltered for them. They like to spend their nights on the water. It's harder for the coyotes to get them. They stay on the water and they're a little protected. Plus, I would imagine because the water isn't frozen, it's a little bit warmer. A new sound comes to attention, the sound of an airplane. We're on the route to Toronto International Airport. So planes approaching to land and take off, go right over our house. As I come up over the little hill, you can hear the highway now, Gets a little bit louder. These are the sounds that we kind of become desensitized to. I guess they call it noise pollution. We hear it so often, we don't hear it anymore. It's still there, but it doesn't really register. Makes you wonder, what else we're desensitized to? I often wonder what our thoughts, what our emotions, what are the things we would think about if we didn't have all this concrete, all these roads? If we had chosen hundreds of years ago to take a different path, more of a path connected to the land, more of a spiritual path, not so much a materialistic path. That's where we find ourselves now. I've heard stories that there would come a time, I actually think it's a prophecy, that there would become a time when we, the human race, would have to decide. There would be two paths presented to us. More of a spiritual path, or the materialistic 3D path that we're currently on. When we get to that point where there's two paths, we'll be able to make a decision. And then we'll have to be responsible for that decision. Personally, I have chosen the more spiritual path. For me, it's a choice. I meditate. I make spiritual things. I work with Earth's energies. And it's enhanced my life. I used to work 80-hour weeks when I was younger. Thought that's what we were supposed to do. Hustle, 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 go man, go. In my case, it didn't really solve any of my needs. So, we live a little differently now. My family and I. just navigating this little hill going down by the river. Not as agile as I used to be. So as I was saying, live a little differently now. More mindful of what's around me. More mindful of the animals, the energies from the stream, the water. Listen, the sounds are changing again. Down by the stream. Haven't been here in a while. Raccoons been here. The salmon were here in the fall. I don't know if they're still here. Just take a minute and listen to the stream. Let your mind flow. Let your imagination wander. Recharging. Thank you for joining me today, sharing a little bit of my life with me, listening to some of my stories, some of my thoughts. I look forward to sharing with you again on the Time Is Now podcast. Everyone have a fantastic day.